or this is just advice for a non-technical buyer who's looking to hire someone. So the first thing I would say is like, I'm glad you're excited about this, but calm down. This is a great way to flush $1 million down the toilet. So if you can think of a phased kind of thing, so like and just think about not your ultimate goal of being a billionaire, but your near term goal. What is the next thing you want to do? Is the next thing you would want to do to maybe have something that you could put in front of 5 to 10 potential buyers just to get their feedback on? If or is the next thing you want to do to shop this around to a few angel investors and see if you can get it $500,000? What is the next thing you want to do that if it doesn't happen, you're going to quit, or you're just going to be like, this doesn't make sense, or pivot or something? But you're just like, okay, what is the next thing you want to do? And let's just say they listen to this and they know the next thing they want to do is have somebody mock up an interface with no code in Keynote or PowerPoint or something, and then do a 1 week sprint to see if anybody cares, if anybody would be interested in pulling out their wallet for this thing that doesn't even exist yet.
Right.
And then I would say, what? Okay, so for that thing, not the ultimate thing, but for that next step, being able to run a design sprint that you test with real prospects, what would that be worth to you as the non-technical founder? Maybe that's worth $1,000 to you. Maybe that's worth $10,000 to you. And then I would go out, whatever that number is, let's say it's $5,000. You go out looking for someone and say, hey, I got $5,000 and my goal is to have this in front of 5 potential buyers on Friday, next Friday, let's say a week, right? Or like within a week of hiring you.
Right.
So I got $5,000. I'll give you $5,000 and a week to get something together, and then I'm going to have 5, and I will worry about getting 5 buyers in the room on Friday. And I don't care how many hours it's going to take. None of that stuff. Don't care about that stuff.
Right.
You're not trying to get a deal here. You're not shopping for the lowest common denominator and saving money. It's like, just focus on the next thing that you want to have happen. It's an experiment. Like, we want to run an experiment. It's worth $5,000 to me to find out that nobody cares or that people are dying to write me checks. That's worth $5,000, right? So, okay, so who can do this for me for $5,000? Somebody raises their hand, and it's not about hours. It's not about their rate. It's like, yeah, I'll do that for $5,000. And then keep doing that as the things get bigger. So like, decide what your next goal is that you think will lead to the ultimate goal of being rich and famous, and say, okay, what's it worth to me to test this next step to get to this milestone, and say, all right, it's worth X. It's worth X. And then find someone who's willing to do it for X. And, come hell or high water, even if you take the deadline out of it, before I was saying like a week deadline, let's just say, I want you to create me a clickable interface that's going to look and feel more or less like an app, not beautiful, but it's understandable to a person. And I'm going to test it with 5 people and find out if they get it or they don't get it. And you can take as long as you want to do that. I'm in no rush. This is a side hustle, but I'll give you $5,000 to do it. People can say yes or no to that. And that's the kind of client I always wished I got.
Mm.
They never do that on their own, though. You have to
Right.
you have to walk them through that process. That's the why conversation.